Hello, Professor. My name is Zhang Yan. Now let's start my speech. The title of my speech is The Impact of Management and Leadership on School Performance in Chinese Schools. Content Chapter 1 Introduction. Chapter 2 Literature Review. Chapter 3 Methodology. Chapter 1 1.1 Background of a study. Now more than ever, it is incumbent upon school leaders to turn around failing institutions and elevate daily instruction to the level required by worldwide benchmarks. As a result of increased pressure from the public, school administrators have raised the bar in all aspects of running their institutions. There is widespread agreement that strong leadership is a vital factor in creating successful educational environments. A great school principal isn't necessarily called to the position itself, but rather to the possibility of making a difference there. 1.2 Problem Statement Excellent school administrators are the sense makers of their institutions, contributing to the development of a culture that fosters learning and encourages faculty and staff to work together effectively. The fact that not all leadership theories are universally applicable is an evident shortcoming, so it's important for schools head to have the wisdom to adjust the administration's mix of leadership styles based on the specifics of each school scenario and set of demands. 1.3 Research Objectives 1. To determine the relationship between head of school's leadership styles and school performance with respect in the treatment of his or her subordinates in public secondary schools. 2. To examine the effects of his of school's leadership styles on Chinese schools in terms of achievement, competence, status, personal worth, and self-realization in raising general school's performance. 3. To establish the relationship between the impact of leadership styles of head of school on performance. 1.4 Research questions 1. What is the impact of head of school's leadership style on public secondary schools in the treatment of his or her subordinates in terms of raising performance? 2. What is the effect of his or school's leadership styles on his or her subordinates in terms of achievement, competence, status, personal worth, and self-realization in raising general school performance? 3. How do leadership styles of his of schools impact on performance of Chinese schools in terms of the extent to which subordinates like their work and use their skills and knowledge on the job? 1.5 Research hypothesis In Chinese schools, there is a considerable positive correlation between school leadership and student academic success. 2. In Chinese schools, there is a considerable positive correlation between school management team and student academic success. 1.6 Significance of the study. The research is important to the subject of education because it adds to the body of information that already exists about leadership style and performance in public secondary schools. The results of the research will assist interested parties in understanding the impact of leadership styles on performance in Tanzania's public secondary schools. including parents and officials from the Ministry of Education. The influence of their leadership philosophies on academic achievement in their institutions must be taken into account by school administrators. This research gave an in-depth look at this demanding level of schooling and also focused on the influence of leadership styles. Chapter 2 2.1 Leadership. The three series of leadership traits, behavior, and situation provide a thorough grounding in the notion of leadership. Recent studies have highlighted intellect, self-confidence, confidence, drive, integrity, and sociability as attributes linked with quality leaders. Despite the dubious assumption of trait theory as originally intended, though et al. Situational leadership approach accounts for broad development as they go through the ranks. They reasoned that leaders should modify their approach depending on the maturity level of their followers, taking into account the latter's level of skill and interest in the work at hand, though et al. According to Hellinger and Huber, principals have several responsibilities, including implementing school policy, monitoring daily operations, and fostering a positive learning environment. 2.2 School performance. Students, educators, and principals all have a lot riding on the school's achievement. Each person's performance tests their cognitive and physical faculties. The process's final result is the school improvement plan, while its ultimate aim is higher levels of student success. It has been noted that performance criteria in the United States tend to place a premium on process and input measures, which are flexible but have been linked to lower student accomplishment. 2.3 This is my conceptual framework. 2.4 Theoretical framework. Max Weber and Bernard developed the transactional theory. Transactional analysis, as the name suggests, examines the exchange of value between a superior and an employee. Transformational leadership theory was theorized by Burns. Transformational and transactional leaders motivate differently. Those who work under a transformational leader are inspired to go above and beyond by the leader's own personal principles and convictions. Chapter 3 3.1 Research Design. Descriptive research and a case study approach were utilized for this. The research design is the overarching philosophy that guided the examination of the impact of school leadership on public secondary school performance. According to Zheng et al., a field survey entails narrating, documenting, analyzing, and interpreting the given circumstances, and this fits well with the research since it demonstrates the need to guarantee that school leaders play an effective role by equipping teachers with the information, skills, and traits necessary to operate schools efficiently and successfully. The study used a descriptive research approach to acquire information on how leadership styles and other indicated elements contribute to or inhibit success in public secondary schools. 3.2 Sample and Sample Techniques 6 schools out of a total of 28 in Sichuan were chosen as responders for this study, with a total of 764 teachers and 28 principals participating. Conveniently, the research chose 10 teachers, 10 pupils, and 6 principals from each of the 6 public secondary schools to form a sample. This research used an unscientific, unprobabilistic sampling strategy. 6 public secondary schools were chosen for the research, and students from each school were asked to participate in the survey. 3.3 Research Instruments Questionnaire All 21 of Wang and Anderson dimensions of transformational leadership were assessed. In all, 2 different types of questionnaires were improved. 21 characterizations of leadership styles were offered in the questionnaire. On a lecture scale from 0 to 4, the responder was tasked with giving ratings for each topic. 3.4 Data collection and analysis. The investigator started off by requesting and then receiving authorization to conduct the investigation from the relevant authorities. During the process of organizing the timetable for collecting the data, the researcher made sure there were no time or data conflicts. The researcher personally delivered the questionnaire to the respondents at the predetermined times and on the predetermined days for the data collection. Tables, percentages, and means that represented the relative weight of a particular category in the distribution were used in the descriptive statistic analysis of the data obtained. The procedure was successful thanks to physical labor and computer programming. 3.5 Ethical consideration. The researcher had requested a letter of introduction from his or her academic institution before beginning the investigation. Researchers created empirical survey instruments, respect for the interviewees' confidentiality, and attention to their emotional and physiological well-being were priorities. The researcher assured the participants that their answers and other data would be kept private. In addition to explaining the study's goals to students and parents, the researcher also spoke with principals and other presenters from the schools that participated in the study. That's all. Thank you for listening.